Ladies and gentlemen, seekers of wisdom, and those striving to master the art of life today, I invite you to explore the foundation of true strength, the four virtues of Stoicism: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These virtues are not abstract concepts meant for scholars or philosophers alone. They are practical, guiding principles that anyone can adopt to live a life of meaning, resilience, and honor. In a world that often feels unpredictable, where emotions can cloud judgment and external circumstances dictate our mood, these virtues serve as our compass. They are the bedrock of a life well lived, shaping our decisions, our character, and ultimately, our legacy. Wisdom is the ability to perceive the world clearly, to recognize what is within our control and what is not, and to act accordingly. It is not merely intelligence or knowledge, but the application of both in daily life. The Stoics understood that our suffering is often not caused by events themselves, but by our perception of them. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, famously wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Wisdom allows us to step back from our immediate emotions and see situations objectively. It teaches us to pause before reacting, to assess our circumstances with clarity, and to choose our responses wisely. When we cultivate wisdom, we are not easily swayed by anger, fear, or impulse. Instead, we develop a mindset rooted in reason and understanding. How often do we allow fleeting emotions to dictate our actions? How often do we worry about things beyond our control? Wisdom reminds us that true power lies not in changing the world around us, but in mastering the way we perceive and respond to it. Courage is often misunderstood. It is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act despite it. It is easy to be brave when there is no risk, no discomfort, no uncertainty. But true courage is forged in the fire of adversity. Life will test us. We will face moments of pain, failure, and disappointment. We will encounter obstacles that seem insurmountable. Yet, it is precisely in these moments that courage becomes necessary. Seneca, one of the great Stoic thinkers, reminds us sometimes even to live is an act of courage. Indeed, there are times when simply getting out of bed, facing the day, and continuing to move forward requires bravery. Courage is not only about grand, heroic acts, it is also about the quiet, persistent effort to push through difficulties, to stand firm in our convictions, and pursue our dreams despite setbacks. It takes courage to admit when we are wrong, to challenge our own beliefs, and to step out of our comfort zones. It takes courage to speak the truth, even when it is inconvenient. It takes courage to keep going when everything inside us is telling us to quit. But the Stoics remind us that hardship is not to be feared, it is an opportunity for growth. Every challenge we face is a test of our resilience, and every time we choose courage over fear, we become stronger. Justice, in the Stoic sense, is more than fairness or following the law. It is about moral integrity, about doing what is right, even when no one is watching. It is the recognition that we are part of a greater whole, and that our actions should contribute not only to our own well-being but to the well-being of others. In a world that often prioritizes self-interest, the Stoic commitment to justice is more important than ever. Do we act only when it benefits us, or do we stand up for what is right, even when it is difficult? Epictetus, another great Stoic philosopher, once said, "What is the fruit of these teachings? Only the most beautiful and proper harvest of the truly educated tranquility, fearlessness, and freedom." Justice is about responsibility. It is about treating others with dignity and respect, regardless of their background, status, or beliefs. It is about keeping our word, honoring our commitments, and ensuring that our actions align with the values we claim to uphold. But justice is not always easy. It requires courage, because doing the right thing is not always the easiest or the most convenient choice. It requires us to put aside our personal biases, to consider perspectives beyond our own, and to stand firm in our principles even when they are unpopular. When we live justly, we contribute to a world that is not only fairer but also more compassionate and honorable. Temperance, or self-discipline, is the virtue that ensures balance. It is the ability to control our desires rather than be controlled by them. In a world that constantly tempts us with excess, whether in food, wealth, power, or pleasure, temperance is what keeps us from overindulgence and self-destruction. The Stoics believed that true freedom does not come from indulging every impulse, but from mastering them. Epictetus wisely stated, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Without temperance, wisdom is clouded by impulsiveness, courage turns into recklessness, and justice is tainted by self-interest. Practicing temperance does not mean denying ourselves joy, it means enjoying life in a way that is balanced and sustainable. It means having the discipline to prioritize long-term fulfillment over short-term gratification. It means recognizing when enough is enough. Consider how often people chase after fleeting pleasures, believing that happiness lies in excess. Yet, it is not indulgence but moderation that leads to lasting contentment. When we develop self-control, we gain the power to make choices that align with our highest values rather than being led by fleeting temptations. These four virtues, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, are not just philosophical ideals but practical tools for living a meaningful and fulfilling life. They are the foundation of true strength, the pillars that support a life of integrity, resilience, and purpose. Every day we will face challenges that test these virtues. There will be moments where it is easier to act without thinking than to seek wisdom, easier to avoid hardship than to be courageous, easier to turn a blind eye than to stand for justice, and easier to give in to temptation than to practice temperance. But if we commit to these virtues, if we strive to embody them in our thoughts, words, and actions, we will not only improve ourselves but also inspire those around us. The Stoics did not promise that life would be free of hardship. On the contrary, they understood that suffering is inevitable. But they also believed that through the cultivation of these virtues, we could meet life's difficulties with strength and grace. We cannot control everything that happens to us, but we can control how we respond. And when we choose to live by wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, we choose a path of true power, a power that no external force can take away. So, as we step out into the world, let us strive to see things clearly, to act boldly, to do what is right, and to master our full selves. Let us live with wisdom, act with courage, stand for justice, and practice temperance. That is the Stoic way. That is the path to true strength. Thank you.